the thumbs up, that's a like. Then hit subscribe and hit that bell. Hey, watch Mr. Smith create a dragon eye using Procreate on the iPad. Just watch. Now, a lot of people ask me, say, Mr. Smith, why just draw a dragon eye and not draw the whole dragon? Well, for this lesson, I wanted to concentrate on the eye because they say the eyes are the portals to one's soul. And to try to get in and to see what a dragon is really about, I think you really need to look deeply into a dragon's eye. And it's so many interesting designs and things that are around the eye and inside the iris and pupil that it becomes a very, very interesting thing to draw. Now, I start off drawing the pupil, iris, and doing the many different shapes that enclose the pupil. I like the textures that go around the dragon eye. They make such interesting shapes. But talking about dragons, I had an experience back in 2018 where I got to climb one of the world's dragons. You're saying, but you just said dragons aren't real. They're not real. Dragons are fictional creatures that during medieval times people thought by digging up bones. They dug up bones of dinosaurs and saw how they were shaped, and they said, wow, these have to be dragons. They had no idea that there were dinosaurs, so they called them dragons. Now, I know there are lizards out there, the Komodo dragon, which is named after a dragon, but there are no flying lizards with wings. There are some small lizards with wings that fly in the sky, but there are no gigantic lizards that fly in the sky with wings. But the nice thing about, we can use our imaginations. Getting back to the dragon which I said I climbed, in 2018 I had a chance to spend some time in China. And while in Beijing, I got the chance to go to the Great Wall of China. And it was a beautiful day. And as you're sitting there looking across at the mountains, you see the Great Wall is nothing but a gigantic dragon going up and down over the different areas of the mountain range. And these mountain ranges go on for hundreds of miles. And that's one of my fascinations with dragons, the actual Great Wall of China. But I've always loved dragons since being a young boy. Stories that my mother would read and share with me as a child. Many times included dragons in there, and I guess I just always had a fascination with this creature. So today, I'm creating my version of a dragon eye, and I hope that you enjoy it. Now you see, create the eye, and then I try to create these textures of the scales going around the dragon. And then after that comes the best part. Once you start to make texture with color, so you can make it look rough, rustic, and three-dimensional. My favorite part of creating a dragon eye. I hope that you, if you don't have an iPad, you get a paper and pencil, sit down and maybe try to draw this with me. And you'll see that this dragon eye has so many interesting parts to it that it's fascinating. And as you look at some of these other dragons that I have in here, and you see the many scales and how these lines move and curve around their bodies. And here's one of my favorite parts, the iris itself. Creating the pupil and the iris and adding these colors and then blending them together, it just ends up coming out to just be an enjoyable experience. And creating it on the iPad makes it even more fun because I can then use different filters and blending tools to make everything come together. Things that I could do with oil pastel. I love using oil pastel, even dry pastel, and they lend themselves well to adding textures. But in the way I can do things with Procreate on the iPad, it's unlike what I've experienced on paper. And now Procreate has even come up with a second app called Procreate Dreams, which I used in the last part of this, where I actually animated the eyelid of the dragon to open and close. So make sure that you stay with watching the whole entire video so you can see just how this turned out. I was very happy with it. And dragons are fantasy creatures that I love. I love dragons. I love unicorns. I love all kind of mythological creatures. But most of all, I love being able to add these colors, blending them in, creating these textures, and just letting these effects do what they do. I know it's a lot faster than my actually sitting there and drawing it, but I think it makes it a lot easier for the viewer. And if it's something you want to see, you can always stop the video, back it up to watch what I've done. I'm just trying to create these three-dimensional textures, add some different values to it, and create the feeling of this dragon eye.